All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to Canva 101 for Realtors, brought to you by me, Lucy McGuire with Get Real Social. I know a few of you guys know me from my previous position, but I did just start my own company, and this is in conjunction with the Martin County Realtors of the Treasure Coast, which I have done quite a few classes with them over the past couple of years, especially since COVID, and doing them remotely to make sure that we continue to provide value to you guys. So thank you guys for those of you who are returning, and thank you to those who are new for joining us today. A little bit about me for those of you guys who don't know who I am. My name is Lucy McGuire, and I am a social media coach. I own Get Real Social, which is a local social media consulting business that I just started. And I am a Martin County native. So I was born and raised in Jensen Beach. I absolutely love it here. I do travel. If you guys were just hearing me and Kristen talk, I like to travel a lot. And like just in the past few years, I've been to like 18 countries and 18 states. It's been crazy, but it's been amazing. I also have managed multiple social media channels for multiple businesses and have grown them organically. That's a huge thing that's very important for me, is growing social media organically. And one of the things that we're going to be talking about today is a great way to be able to utilize that and create time efficient aspects that you can do that. I'm glad that all of you guys have heard about Canva, or else I don't think you'd be on here, but Canva is such a great tool, and I'm excited to delve into that. And I use Canva every day. I don't know what I'd do without it. So it has definitely helped me with growing those social media channels that I have done. And I've been very well versed in the social media world, and I really do my best to try and share that with others. A quote that I always like to share at the beginning of my classes is something that's really stuck with me, especially throughout COVID, which is, the one thing in life that is constant is change. And I think, if anything, we've all seen that in the real estate world. It is so true. And we have to be on top of things as they come to us. And social media has become a huge aspect of that. But not only that, just like visually aesthetic aspects of our business, especially here in the real estate world. So I'm excited to get into Canva and talk about all of the cool things that Canva has. It is something I recommend to all of my clients. Anybody I speak to, really, anyone on the streets, they want Canva, I'm telling them about it. It really is a great platform to be able to utilize different aspects for. What I'm going to be going over today is some of the Canva 101 aspects of it, Canva basics, navigating the screen, custom dimensions, resizing, flyers and social media, how you can kind of find those templates. I'm really going to walk you through the site because there's a lot of different aspects that go into it, and some different changes that have happened, and things that you might want to pay attention to, and things that you don't need to worry about. Downloading files, presentations like this one are created on Canva, shocker, surprise, and putting the image to background elements and just different aspects that you might get hung up on if you've already been dabbling in Canva. Could I get you guys to put in the chat how many of you have already been utilizing Canva and been dabbling around? Not all at once, guys, not all at once. All right. Okay, so there's a few people, it seems, that have not even looked into Canva. I'm so excited for you to hear all about what Canva has to offer. It truly is a lot. Oh, wow, quite a bit. Okay, cool. I'm excited for you guys to see this then. So this is gonna be probably a lot of information, but good that we are recording it so that you guys can look back on it. Canva is, just for you guys who have not heard about Canva, or maybe you have never really worked with the system before. I'm sure you guys have heard, it is like, I call it, not PowerPoint, what's that editing software? The really complicated one, Adobe, Photoshop for dummies. That's what I call it. Like, it's literally like, if you need to put together basics or graphics or whatever it might be, like, it's literally for dummies, but I love it. I'll be a dummy all day if it helps me save time, right? So it's a great aspect to utilize with that. So I see Gretchen, that's what she uses, etc. So Canva, in my opinion, is easier to use on computers. You have a lot more functionality and like just able to utilize, but there is an app that really does help a lot and will be a great aspect to include for when you are creating certain aspects, which I'll kind of get into a little bit later. But when you guys are creating documents, can I get anybody who has already been using Canva? Do you guys have the paid version, or are you guys utilizing the free version? Pop that in the chat for me. And I'll get back to that in just a second. So definitely download the app. It's definitely okay, looking like a lot of people are saying free. Paid all the way. Love it, Kathy. Love it. Yes, Laura. All right, and we're going to be talking about the differences between paid and free version, because there are some differences. And what I'm going to be showing you today is the paid. You're going to see the paid version, but what you're going to see, I'll show you what the differences are when you're utilizing paid. And just so that you guys know, I all day long will recommend the paid version of Canva. There are things that I will be like, nope, you don't need to pay for that. You don't need to pay for that. Trust me, I'm not someone to be like, hey, you should spend money on this just because. It's honestly the best $13 a month I spend. It's $12.99 a month. You can pay for the yearly if you need it, but it honestly is because I utilize it so much, and it is a huge aspect and a game changer to your business. I will go over those differences, but let me go ahead into my page here so you guys can see. So this is the home page of Canva. It is a web-based graphic design type of platform. So you can literally create something as simple as logos, to print products, to postcards, to flyers, to social media posts, to business cards, literally anything that you could probably think of that has to do with print, you can utilize through Canva. You can even create videos on Canva. There are certain aspects, again, that I recommend more than others, but I want to kind of just breeze through the screen here of what you're looking at, right? So when you log into Canva, and here I'm actually going to put my information, but also a link in here into the chat. And on that link, if you click through to that link, you'll be brought to my page, but there is a Canva aspect on there. So it says something about go check out, utilize Canva for free, or try a free aspect. You can get a free 30-day trial on Canva Pro, and it does not charge a card until the 30 days. So you can put a notification, whatever, on your page, like, hey, cancel it by this date, and they're really good about that. But once you get in there, you sign in, you create an account. It's free to create an account. You do not have to pay for an account. There is, again, a very robust free version of it. But again, I'm going to go through those differences. Right now, this is the first page that you are going to see when you are looking at Canva. So you have your profile here at the top, which is just kind of generic on any website. You're going to have your profile aspects at the top there. You're going to have the create design button. So that's where you can get started on creating anything. It gives you suggestions. When you create your account, it's going to ask you why you created a Canva account. It's going to say, are you a small business? Are you a creator? Whatever it might be, you're going to put small business, and then you're going to put real estate, so that it can kind of cultivate different aspects that you might want to utilize. When you are creating design, you can literally put in anything here. I can put in Instagram, and look, I just put in Insta, and all of these different aspects came in for Instagram post. It even has the pixels for each of those aspects, a Reels video, a story, that sizing there, all of these different aspects. So that's just if you wanted to create a design straight off the bat with a custom size. You have your notifications here if someone shares something with you in settings. So these aren't crazy things that you wouldn't know, that you'd be able to figure out easily. So up here at the top here, we have our homepage again, which is going to show all of our most recent designs. And then if you click on templates here, this will bring you to all of the different templates that we have. This is one of the huge advantages of Canva, is that there is Some aspects you have to think about. You obviously have to make this appealing to your brand and what you are doing as a business, right? You have your own colors, you have your own logo, you have your own pieces or information that you want to put in there, and you want to make sure that your content is branded to you. So all of these aspects, though, of these templates are editable. So like, you don't like the green in this background, you can change it to your color, you can change it to blue. So anything on here, the words, any element, you can change completely. So when you're utilizing a template, really you can just pick from anything and change it up and make it something else and kind of just go off of a basis. But the fact that they offer these, and you can see top picks, this is based off of like what you post on there. Instagram posts, so you can click on Instagram posts, it'll give you a bunch of templates for Instagram posts. You can see what kind of catches your eye. You can change out the pictures, etc. Now, some of the biggest difficulties that people have is when they are utilizing a template and trying to make the template what they want, because there are some elements that can be harder to maneuver than others. But it's just about knowing where to look. Before we kind of get into that, I'm just going to continue on of just like where we're kind of looking here. So we're underneath this templates tab here. Again, you can even just hover over this and you can see all of the different aspects that it would encourage. So business, marketing, infographics, brochures, education, etc. You can literally do so much with these templates. The features is really just going to go over some of the print products and such. You don't really need to worry about that right now. And then like learning, they even have a bunch of classes on there. So that's just that top bar right there. When you go back to your home screen here, these are going to be the certain aspects that you're looking at. And you're going to be on your home page, which is again what we just looked over. When you go to recent designs, this is going to show all of your most recent designs, and you can scroll through them. It's going to show all of your designs, right? But scrolling through all of your designs to try and find the right thing probably isn't going to be the most effective method of trying to find something, right? So that's when you have your projects. You can actually create folders for each of your items. So I have like my client graphics, marketing graphics, social media classes, women's council, realtors, because I handle the marketing for them. So you can see all of these different aspects in here. And you can see this has 9 items in it. So when I go to this, I have all of these templates that I've been working on within that folder. So really it's a way of organizing all of your designs. Now, let's say, and you can even see here, like this is the presentation that I was just working on. You see how it says social media classes. That's underneath right here. So that's already been categorized. These have been categorized. So this has not been categorized. So if I wanted to click on the ... here, I could, one, make a copy. If I wanted to like utilize this same basic design and just like add from there and make it completely different, I could do that. If I wanted to do that, I can also move it to a folder. So I can choose my projects, and then I can select Women's Council, because this is a Women's Council piece, and then add to folder. And then now it has that designation, and now it's been added to here. So it's just an organization method to be able to utilize. Shared with you, if anybody ever shares something with you, which you probably may have came across, like if someone's like added you to a specific design, then what happens is you'll get an email. It'll say, hey, so-and-so has added you to this design. You click go to design, and then what's going to do, as long as you're already on your Canva account, it will pop up then in your shared for you, and this is how you will get back to that shared file. That can be really complicated sometimes with people, because they get shared a file and then they're like, oh, I don't have it anymore. They think it's just the email, but no, if you have an account, it will pop into there. Then you have your teams. Teams are a really great aspect on Canva, but they can get kind of complicated if you don't know what you're doing with them. So you do have to be cognizant of that. It's a little bit advanced, so I won't get into it today, but pretty much You can look at, so these, if I wanted to switch teams, if I wanted to switch to the Women's Council of Realtors or the Traveling Youth is my nonprofit, if I wanted to switch to the aspects of that, I could switch. It's almost like switching profiles. Think about you on your Gmail account, and you're switching from your Gmail, like your personal Gmail to your work Gmail, right? And you're kind of switching profiles. That's technically what you're doing when you're switching your teams on Canva. But just don't get too much caught up in the minutia of that. That's, again, a little bit advanced. I won't get too into that. One of the biggest aspects of Canva, though, is the cool aspect that they create, which is their Canva brand kit. This is a paid feature. If you look for this little crown icon, you will see anything that requires you to have Canva Pro will have this little crown. Here's a little reminder, crown pro tip. Designs the premium fonts. They have premium fonts, they have premium designs. Keep in mind, if you guys are utilizing templates, not every template is free to use in a sense. So like if you pick a design that has elements in it that are paid elements, then it's going to tell, like it's going to put like a watermark over it, etc. And please do not utilize those aspects with watermarks on it. It does not look good. It looks tacky. Like, don't do it, please. I've seen that and it doesn't look good. So the brand kit, clicking on this, again, this is a paid feature. You can upload your logos to here. You can create color palettes. So like, let's say you, for instance, Women's Council of Realtors, they have this blue, this, it's black, and then the yellow. So you can actually upload a logo and pull the colors from a logo into a brand kit, which is really cool. So you can create these brand kits for certain aspects. So I have brand colors for Women's Council. I have one for my brand, Get Real Social. I had one in here because I have a lot of clients from Next Home. So like I had that in here just so I had easy use to it. So, and then you can even upload, like, let's say you create a logo or you have specific fonts that you like using for every project or whatever it might be. And I'll show you where this implements into the project aspects once we get to that. But all of that shows up right here. You can edit this and make this whatever font you want out of all of the different fonts that they have, which again, you see the crowns, all as a Canva Pro user, you get free access to all of those. So you really limit yourself when you don't have the pro aspect. So you can put that in there. You can create a subtitle. So whenever you pull these up, they'll be there. There is a content planner on Canva. I would utilize this to be like, hey, you've got, what days are coming up, etc. I do not utilize Canva for scheduling posts onto Facebook or any of my social platforms because I believe from a social media perspective, there are better ways to do so. Facebook has a whole scheduling app on the back end where you can schedule the Facebook and Instagram. So that is my preference. Not to say it doesn't work. You can definitely utilize it, but it's just not my preference. So that feature is there as well, and that is a paid feature. You can post to like LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram, etc. There's just like, it's kind of a simplified version of posting. So that is this whole, obviously trashier, just anything that you've deleted. So that is this whole navigation of right here. Again, right here, what will you design? You can literally look up anything. So if you want to look up presentations, you can look up that here. Any of these buttons are toggling, but I could literally look up real estate. These are the things I've created. Templates. There's your designs and then there's templates. So if you put real estate in any of your design names, it'll pop up there. But I just search real estate and look at all the different categories. 2.9K Instagram posts, 1.4K stories, like Facebook posts, logos. You can do themes, construction. Like if I click on construction, that'll filter that out. So all of these aspects here, you can see here, you can pick something that you like, and I'm going to select one that I can show you the most on. So let's see. Let's click on this one. So this shows you here that this is a Facebook post, but I just clicked it. I just clicked on that, and now it has brought me to editing it. So you can see I'm clicking through here. You see the blue lines. That's all the editable features. Everything again is editable in this document. If I decided I'm like, oh, I don't like this at all, I'm changing my mind, or maybe I want to like compare this to something else, I can add a page here at the bottom, and then I'll have a second page, and we're going to go through this right here. But you have your templates. It's automatically going to be on the templates tab when you open this up. But let's say, again, you want to look up real estate, and you see that there are some other templates. You're like, I actually want to try this one. It pops it right in there. So there's two different ways that you can get to the templates. You can get to them from the home page by looking up something and finding something there, or you can even just create a blank document, go to your templates tab, write what you're looking for, and pop it in there. So they have pretty aesthetic looking aspects on here. From a real estate point of view, it's definitely very valuable. I recommend creating templates of your own, like find a template you like, make it your own, add your face, add your contact, add your logos, et cetera, and then you can reuse that template for different aspects. It's just listed, homes for sale, just sold, et cetera. Like you can create those pre-done templates to where you can reutilize them. Before we kind of get into that though, I'm just going to go over the navigation of this screen, because there's a lot. This might look like a lot, and I'm actually going to minimize this. It might look like a lot of different aspects to look at. So we're going to start from the top here. If you go to home, this is going to bring you back home. So it's going to bring you back to the home screen. It's right here. If I click on home. Here is file. These are some different aspects, rulers and stuff. This is more on the aspect of the intermediate level. So I won't get into any of these details, but you can see, at least in the file, like the pixels of what you're working on, so that you know what size your current aspect is on. As you can see here, there's a little crown here. You can look at your different version history. So if you're going through edits or whatever, and then you like mess something up, you can go through your version history. That is a paid feature. One of the biggest aspects that I love, that I think there's two huge aspects that I think make the process of Canva paying for it worth it. There is the resize option, which I'm about to show you, and then there's removing backgrounds. So we'll get to the removing backgrounds in just a minute, but resize option here, you have a Facebook post. Yes, you have a Facebook post. This is a Facebook post. Let's say I want this to be an Instagram post. One, it's going to give me suggestions based on what I've done before, but I can literally search anything in the search bar. So I can make this an Instagram story if I wanted. I can make this an Instagram post. So I can click on Instagram post, and it's going to give me two options. It's going to say copy and resize, which is going to create a whole new document at the size that I want it. Or I can just resize the current document I'm in if I don't care about having the Facebook version of it, right? So I'm just going to resize this one. I'm not going to copy and resize for the sake of not creating a whole nother document. But you see, design resize. So you see now it shrunk that to be good for Instagram. So it will automatically do that. Sometimes you have to like edit things a little bit. So like, for instance, this kind of like didn't pull down all the way or whatever it might be. So sometimes there's a little bit of things that you have to edit, but for the most part, it pretty much pulls everything into what you're trying to do. I'll go through that in a second. So that's resizing. This is the undo button. So if I wanted to undo that, I could. So back to Facebook, here's Instagram, right? So you can see the differences. It shows you at the top here, all changes saved. This is a web-based app. So you will be able to utilize this through the internet. If you have internet connection, you can pop online and edit this from anywhere, from any computer, if you know your login. So that is very valuable for it, because you do have those aspects of, now you have your content wherever you're going and on your phone too. And these update in real life, in real time. You have your where you are posting. This is the name of your post, which I always recommend renaming this, so it's not some random name that they have in there, so that you're able to search for it. You can share this document with other people. So remember, I was mentioning that earlier. So you can literally put in Marsh at whatever, and then you can send it off, and that'll send that email. This you don't need to worry about. Those are insights. Downloads, this is how you would download something. So if you finish this, you can say, hey, I want to download this. You can select PNG, JPEG, SVG, which is a vector file. This is a paid aspect. All of these different versions, types of files, PDF, etc. This is also a paid version to resize this. So for instance, if this is 1080 by 1080, but I need a higher quality photo or whatever it might be, if it's going to actual print, I can make this bigger. I can double the size of it or triple the size of it, and make this a higher quality graphic for print purposes and such. Another aspect that is also on the paid version is you can create a transparent background. So for instance, if these types of templates, you wouldn't really need that, but let's say you created a logo, and I would just put one up really quick. Let's say you have this logo here, and you want this logo, but you don't want the gray in the background. You all have seen transparent images, right? So the transparent logos, and a lot of people have their logos with like the white in the background. I don't know about y'all, but that really irritates me. I hate it. I hate seeing the chunky like logos in the back. I'm like, take the background out of there, please. So this is such a quick way to be able to do that. You can create your own logos in Canva if you feel inclined, if you have the creative abilities to be able to do that. But let's say you have a logo and you can download this without this gray background. And this again is a paid feature, but you can take away that background and just have this logo. And then it looks so much better when you put it onto things rather than having clunky background. You can also compress the file if you need to. That's a paid version. You can select the pages. So for instance, this document has 3 pages in it, right? Let's say I only need this page. I can download that specific page. So I would just select the page, page 3, done, and download. So that's what's really great about the download features and everything like that. So that's download. Here is, again, you can go to download, you can present. So where I was presenting on this earlier, I could just, if it's already a presentation, it'll give you this button up here for presenting, but you could still download it if I wanted to. And then the present mode, you can literally go through these different aspects. So if you're working with a listing agent, or sorry, if you're the listing agent and you're trying to, you created maybe a presentation in Canva, you can go ahead and present on your screen like you would a PowerPoint presentation, but these presentations are way sleeker and just a lot more easier to create than in PowerPoint. And I think we can all agree PowerPoint's a little rusty when it comes to like, you know, some of the features and such. So just great aspects here. Again, the scheduling app, you can share a link for this, etc. So you can always play around. And there's, they have their own, you can actually order through Canva, but you don't have to worry about that right now. So that's that top bar. Now to like the really important aspect of Canva here is this sidebar. So this is going to be your navigation into the Canva aspects here. We're going to come back up to this top bar here. I'm going to go through all of these elements, and as I'm kind of going, I'll show you what each thing does. And then we'll kind of get into like where you might be getting caught up on some of these templates. So remember what I said about the templates, those are always available. You can always look those up. You saw how I just popped up logos, etc. The next tab is going to be elements. Elements are going to be like this little clicker thing here, and any of these little graphics, this little graphic, sometimes pictures pop up in the elements. So you can search, again, anything. And mind you, let me look up something. Let's look up house, right? So there are some free elements in here as houses, like this one. It'll show you, again, the little crown. This crown means that this is a paid icon or whatever it might be. You can't use this unless you have the pro account. There is a lot of images on Canva, like millions of pictures, and they are all free to use when you pay for Canva. So I know that that's a huge aspect that people think about, like when they're like, do not go to Google and pull photos off of Google, because those photos are copyrighted. These are free images that have been like donated to the Canva platform, so you are able to utilize them in your marketing. And again, you get more access when you, and more options when you have the paid version. So any of these you can pop in here, and let's just see one here. Like, let's say I was going to pop in this one. I just click on it, it goes into here. I can move this wherever I want. Let's say I don't like this house and I want this to be here. So I can pop in any of those elements. You can see here that it's showing all houses, right? So at the top here, you can see it's going to give you suggestions. Do you want modern houses? Do you want house outline? Do you want house interior? Do you want the roof? So like if I click modern house, like modern houses are going to pop up. So it gives you a lot of flexibility and features here, right? So let's say I want to look at photos only, which there's a whole photos tab, but we'll talk about the difference of that in a second. So you go to your photos tab and you can see, okay, these are all modern homes, like, and you can utilize these pictures. Let's say I don't like this modern home because this is a modern home. Funny that this is actually modern, right? So let's say I want this one, right? In this specific element, this photo of this house is in the background. If I right click on this picture, it gives me all these options: copy, paste, delete, send it backwards, which I'll go over this in a second. But there's an element here, replace background. If I replace the background, voila, it's the modern home I wanted. So this was a paid picture or whatever it might be, but since I have the paid version, it's fine. So you can swap that out right there. But you see how that can change just in a second. So let's say I wanted a graphic of a modern home, right? So let's go back down here, and let's say I didn't want this, but I wanted a more modern element in here, right? And you can see that I can move things around. I can move them wherever I want. I can make them bigger. I can make them smaller, etc. Right? So I have that in there. So you can see that these are like kind of those Giphy type of cartoonish type aspects. Some of them are less Giphy and they look a little bit more realistic. Some of them move. Be careful utilizing ones that move unless you're really purposely trying to create a video, because if you implement something that's moving, it's going to make your document a video for 4 or 5 seconds or whatever it might be. So you can always scroll through these. You can even see videos. So like modern houses, like here, I'll pop up a new page here. And, you know, you can see that this is a video. I can even, again, replace the background. And here's a video. So these, you also have, a lot of these videos are going to be paid versions, as you can see here, especially the more specific you get with what you want. But these are, again, free to use. You can pop things on top of this. I could put text on top of this if I wanted, etc. You can do whatever you want to this, and it will still play the video. So back to elements here. These are just the different aspects, audio, whatever it might be. You can add audio to your aspects here, but again, don't get too caught up in the audio and such. There's certain platforms that I would recommend you not utilize the audio here, and you utilize the audio on certain other platforms, depending on what you're utilizing. So those are the elements. So those can be very valuable to like popping in, or if there's something you want to represent. So moving along to uploads, these are all going to be your uploads, your photos that you have uploaded. So if you need to upload media, you just click upload, you upload whatever you're trying to upload, a logo, a picture of you, or whatever it might be. And then that will pop in here and you'll have access to these aspects at any point, right? So then if you, once you upload something, let's say I'm going to pop Philip in here. I don't know if you guys know Philip. From Palm City Insured, super sweet guy. But let's say we're popping him in here. Again, this whole clunky background, I hate it. You can see like, okay, well, what if I want Philip to be right here? I've just popped this in here. I'm gonna show you guys that second feature that is like so worth the $12.99 a month. I swear I use this all the time, especially in your marketing and such. You can click on his picture. You can see that it's selected with the blue around the edges. And then I'm going to go to edit image here. First thing that pops up is background remover, right? With one click, I can remove the background and I can resize this, whatever it might be. And now Philip is selling a modern home at $950,000, looking like a pro. Look, it even looks like he's standing right there. So it looks much better. Again, if I'm going too fast, please like post a comment if you guys have questions. Am I losing everybody? Is anybody falling asleep? I hope not. All right. So again, that's a huge feature. I use it so often, all the time. It's very valuable. And you don't have to do it with just your photos. You can do it with your own, with other photos too. So for instance, next one is going to be, the next tab here is photos. So let's say, I'm going to delete this. Let's say that there is a photo that I want to, if your background doesn't do it right, can you fix it? Good question. Let's see if I can find one that might have an issue with removing a background. There is a way to fix it. You do want to be aware of what you're trying to move the background of. You can make simple edits. It's kind of an advanced aspect, but I'll show you what I mean. So for instance, this is not going to be as easy to remove the background of. There's like grass. If I can utilize this to zoom in. So you can see there's like grass right here. You know, this sheet is like covered by trees or whatever it might be, right? So let's try to remove the background of this. It's really good for headshots and like images that are pretty to the point of what you want to be removed from the background. Okay, so you see how this removed this white thing back here, and like you can still see this grass because it's like, again, hard to, this is not a good picture to remove the background of. But you see, while you're still on this, before you click on anything else, if you look to the left here, you can see erase. And you can see restore. This is only while you're selected on it. All right, so you're still selected on it. You can click erase. Let's say I don't want this grass here, but I'm going to be end up cutting off the thing. But let's say it's like something simple where, like, you know, I'm just trying to get rid of the grass here. I can erase these aspects if there's like simple things that you need to kind of smooth out or remove, right? Or you can restore. Let's say I wanted that white thing back there to show up. I can restore that piece of the image if I wanted to. So you can make this bigger if you wanted, etc. So those are kind of the aspects that you have to work with. You can make your brush size bigger or smaller. You can erase, like, so if I want to aspect. So that can get pretty tedious if there's something like, again, like something like this, it's not a good picture to do it with, but just for example. So then once you click off of it, you're done. Now this has been, you can make it smaller, whatever, right? So it is a really cool feature. Also a paid feature, again, remember. So we're looking at these photos. Again, you can search anything. So you could look up happy, you just look up happy, find some person who's happy, utilize them. This is someone where, like, this is a background that would be good to remove. So you can edit this image, remove the background. And it takes us a few seconds, sometimes a little bit longer. But look at how good that comes out when you remove that background. So that's honestly a great feature. So again, you can search anything here. You can even create filters. You can even filter this through what's free, a free picture, or what's paid. So these are paid pictures. You can even look out at cutouts only. Like, what if you just want people who are already cut out, right? These are already cut out people. So again, this is all underneath the happy aspect. So you can utilize these in your designs. Like, this is obviously for, you know, maybe if you have like a little sign here or whatever, and you're putting her on the edge of it. So it's pretty cool. Moving right along to the text. So when you get to the text, let's say you want to add text here, right? So this is my Get Real Social text. So this is my branded text that I like to use all the time. I can make this as big or as little as I want, and then you can change this out however you want, like, hey, everyone, etc. I can change the colors on here, right here. I can make this any color. I can pull from this is where you'll pull from your brand kits, again, paid version. But you can, like, here's Women's Council, here's me, this is my color. If I want to click on the background and make this white, or maybe this light blue, that's my brand, I can do that. So this is where your brand pops up in the colors aspect. You can see the document colors. You can even pull from photos, the different colors of photos in here. And then you can, of course, you can go to the color wheel and pick exactly what color you want as well. So that is all within the text, or that's in the color aspect, but here's text as well. So you have your text here, and then you have these font combinations. Almost all of these are paid. Again, a paid feature to be able to utilize some of these effects that you can actually create on your own, but they can sometimes be difficult. These are all created in Canva. So these aren't like special fonts that you can't find anywhere else. Like, they're all Canva fonts. So I'll post this one because I know that this one is going to be a situation in which I want to explain. So for instance, when I post this, beach please, it is moving together, right? This is all moving together. One of the biggest things that people get stuck up on with Canva is when something like this is already together and they want to separate it, or when something is locked in place and they can't move it. So when you're utilizing text that is together and you're trying to, especially when you're utilizing the templates, text could be bundled together. And let's say you don't want the please to be over the beach as much, right? You can see that these are two different elements, and you can edit them together. Like, for instance, if I wanted to change please to, I don't know, Belize, I can do that. I can change beach, let's go to Belize. But you see how it kind of like, now it doesn't look as good, right? Because it's kind of falling on top of each other. So if I want these two things to be separated, I can click up here to ungroup, click off, and now they are two separate pieces. That's one of the biggest aspects, but you can also regroup them together if you want by left clicking on your mouse. But you see how it also selected her picture. So you'd want to right click and only grab the two elements that you're trying to connect, and you can group them now together in this aspect and make them smaller or bigger together. So that's a huge aspect with those fonts. Now, to kind of go, because some of the aspects that we're going into these, this bar up here. While we're here, I'm going to just go through this really quick so you can see here that this is all the different fonts that you have. Again, see all of the crowns, those are all paid fonts. So you get those for free when, or not, well, get those included when you pay for Canva. That's the fonts. You can literally look up anything. If you want to look up cursive, you can look up cursive. It'll show you cursive fonts. You can look up block, like if you want to look up block text, like it'll show you block text. So that's always utilize the search bar in Canva. It's very intuitive. And if it doesn't like show up how you want it to look, like if you say something, it'll tell you if that doesn't, nothing pops up with that, you might want to reword it or whatever it might be. You can also change the, so if you're selected on this, you can change the font size right here. This is pretty typical of any type of thing you're going to be using. I don't think I have to explain all this. You know, font color is here. If the font can be bolded, this will be available, or this italicized will be available. That depends on the font. So if I change this to a different font, it'll give me the option if it's available. So this one, for instance, I can italicize if I wanted to. So it'll always show that option. You can underline, you can make this all caps, which obviously looks like a jumbled mess with that specific font, but certain fonts, it does look good. So maybe like this font, if I wanted to make this all caps, I can do that with that feature right there, the delay. This is just like any other editing thing. You're gonna have where your font is placed in the text box. This is if you want to create bullet points. This is spacing of things. So for instance, if I have here, I want to make these letters spaced closer together or further apart, I can do that here. Or I can change the line spacing as well, make them closer together. So that's right there, the line spacing option. If you hover over any of these aspects, it will remind you what that's supposed to do. Effects is what I was kind of talking about with these different features. This is text effects, and you can utilize this. You can put a shadow behind something, you can lift it up, you can kind of mess around with these different aspects. You can make it neon, you can curve your words if you wanted to, etc. So there's a bunch of different font aspects that you can utilize right there. So that's for effects. This is if you want to animate your text. Keep in mind, if you animate your text, it is going to make it a video. But like if you wanted to, you can see all these different features that you can make it do with animating it. And this is just from hovering over it, you can see what it's going to do. And then position. So you have this document, right? And let's say you want this centered. You want this word to be centered to the page. Position is a great element to utilize when you are looking at all the different aspects. So for instance, hey everyone, you want this in the center of the page, you can literally click center and it will center it to the page. If you want it centered to the left, you can do that, center to the right, etc. So this is a great way to do quickly rather than like moving this to be, you can see there's a line that pops up, but you can also just quickly do it right there with the centerizing, or you can put it in the middle of the page, top of the page, bottom of the page. So the next thing that kind of comes up over here is this transparency that you need to pay attention to, because let's say you're working on this house, but this house is a little much, right? So it's a little bit too, you want it a little bit more muted in the picture. When you click this transparency, you can actually make this a little bit less bolded, so it kind of takes away the edge of that picture. And then it pops Philip out more, or you per se, when you pop yourself in there, and then people can still see what's going on. And that's what happened with this thing right here. This is like a black text box, but it has transparency on it. So this can be black, or you can see through it. If you need a link, if you're working on a PDF document or whatever it might be, you can actually you can enter a link for a certain element. So if you wanted this picture to be a link to something, you could do that and link that. That's what that is up there. Another big piece that this is another thing that people really get hung up on is, let's see if I can find something. I don't think I know what this is. So sometimes there are elements that are locked. So you see these pieces, I can move these wherever I want. But you see like this piece, I just made this locked. So now I'm trying to move this black box. Oh no, it's not moving. Why is this black box not moving? When I click on it, you can see there's a little lock box at the bottom. This element can't be edited. It can be edited, it just can't be edited in that moment, right? So if that element pops up, go up here, unlock it, and now it's free. So now you can move this wherever you want and edit it, make it bigger, whatever you got to do. So that's a piece that people really get caught up on, is the elements that are locked and the elements that are pieced together. So keep those in mind when you're working with these templates, because it will help you a lot. So those are kind of the aspects up here. Again, deleting and such like that, very easy. Is there a way to lock text into an element? So for instance, you mean this, like this is an element and then this is text, yeah? That's what you mean? So let's say, yeah, like this modern is home. This is different, right? Remember we said about grouping something together? So if I right or left click and I select all of these aspects without selecting Philip, because I don't want him to be included, right? If I select these, I can group them together, right? Now they're grouped together. So these are going to move together, which doesn't mean I can't edit this. I can still say, I can still edit this, but now they're locked together. Then I can lock it. Yes. So now I can't move this. You're welcome. So that's another great feature too, because if you want to like lock Phil, you saw how he was being selected. If I wanted to unlock this and I wanted to select all of these aspects, but I didn't want Phil to be included, now I can move all of this and he's not going to be selected because I want him right there. I don't want that picture to move. So you can use it to your advantage, and then sometimes it can be a disadvantage because things are locked in your thing and you don't know what's locked or whatever. So just keep that in mind. So that is all the aspects up here. Coming back to the bar right over here, you can, again, these are all the different text boxes that you can utilize. I want to go back to photos for 2 seconds because there's something that's within elements, which is called frames, which we're about to see in this document right here. Ooh. These picture frames, you can utilize these frames and pop in pictures to these frames. So these are what these are. So if I go to photos and I want to utilize this photo, I can pull this in and just drag and drop it into that, that little frame. I can make this bigger if I wanted, wherever it might be. But you see how like this wasn't connected to this backdrop thing, but it looks like it is, right? But it's not. So just think things, again, this is a template. So just things to be aware of, like when you're, so maybe you want to move these together, you can select them together. So those are really cool. I really like the text boxes, or sorry, the frames for the pictures and everything. Those can be utilized well. These backgrounds are going to be good for like maybe something like this, right? You have something very simple. You can see they're broken down by landscape patterns, gradients, of abstract. You can search whatever you want. That can come up, but let's say I wanted flowers, and there it goes. It pops that into my background automatically, right? So those are all the different backgrounds. And you can even search images based off of colors. So if I want to look up blue, I can look up things like that too. Next tab here is all your designs. These are all the designs you've ever created. This may not pop up on your screen at first. So if this doesn't show, like all of these things might not show, right? You can see that these don't have a little X thing, but these do. If it doesn't show up there, which if you just create a Canva account, it probably won't. And click at the bottom to more. And click on, wait, what happened to it? Oh no. Let me refresh this. Oh darn, hopefully I didn't do something that I can't do. So usually when you're first looking at it, it will pop up on this underneath more. Oh, actually, no, just kidding. I know what I did there. So folders might pop up underneath more for you. But when I click on folders, this will, again, which will probably be underneath more for you, but folders, you can come back and click all your designs. So you see how it added now this feature on this tab for me because I've utilized it. It just kind of popped it in there because that's what I utilize. Because let's say I really like this background, and or let's say I want to use this background, these heart backgrounds, and I want to put it into this one. Let's say I add a new page, a blank page here, and I can click on this template. This is a design I've already created. And I can pop it in there. And then if I wanted, I could literally delete all of this stuff and utilize this background. Up here's a locked element right there. So you see how I selected everything and deleted it, but it did not delete the locked element. So I can unlock that and delete that if I wanted, and then utilize this background. But this is not going to affect my previous design. My design is still my design, but I can pop it into another design that I'm working on so that I can work with that. So it's a great way to copy and paste from another design and reutilize something that you liked in something else. So that's a huge thing too. Right up here is your logos. Logos, again, may or may not pop up right for you, but if it's not there, just click more and it will be right there. And then once you start to utilize it, it'll pop up right there. But these are your logos that you've uploaded. You upload your logo here and it's going to stay there. So then you can always have access to it. Pop this in and utilize this, or I can pop this in, and then you have access to it always. So that's always a great, you want to upload your logo directly into the logo template there, or not the logo tab there. So again, all your designs, you can go through them, and then folders. So you can see all your folders, so all your designs, you can see, again, your folders. Remember I added something in WCR Stuart Martin before, that folder, or my social media classes. I can search things via folder too. Like, oh, this is where this is where I need to pull this from, and get that from there as well. And then that creates a new tab, but I can just get rid of that tab. So this is the whole folders aspect. Again, shared with you is an option on here as well. So these are all the things that have been shared with me. So it gives you access to all of those features and aspects. These are things that you're not even gonna have to worry about, so don't worry about this. But yeah, like even more from Canva. So for instance, if I want to look up videos, I can add this tab in here and I can look up just videos like of whatever, again, houses, Florida, maybe. And these are all videos that you can utilize. Are there any questions so far? Oh, it's been a lot of information. I'm gonna wrap it up. But so all of these different pieces, I just want to kind of go over really quick these aspects of these elements, right? So this was a template. All of these features, again, are editable, but I can move this wherever I want. The for sale I can move, the for sale I can change. If I wanted these two things to move together, I can again select them and group them, and now they move together. So if I wanted them to be over here, I can do that. Again, very, very editable. If any of these features are locked, you now know how to unlock them. You can see, you can move these, make them bigger, make them smaller, change the phone number. Literally everything is editable. This is probably a little bit more complex of a template here. So you see how I just like tried to select all of this and it moved that back piece. This is a feature, and I can go back, right? Maybe I don't want this bar to move. This is another aspect where I could lock this and it's not going to move that. And now I can select these pieces and they work freely. Maybe I don't even want these pieces. Maybe I like that without that. I can just delete those pieces. So the templates are really great. Honestly, love the templates and utilize them all the time. So very much recommend them. And there's a lot of elements that you can utilize just with the free or with the paid version. And the free version again, you can click on the link that I posted in the chat. You can get 30 days free just on that. I'm going to go back to here. You look to see this present. But yeah, are there any questions about kind of what we just went over? I know it was a lot. Thankfully, it's recorded for you, right? But I hope you guys see the value of Canva. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Again, on that link, the Linktree/Let's Get Real Social. You can get connected to my YouTube channel. Go there, subscribe to it. I don't have videos up yet. I just started my company, but this video will be up on there so you can get aspect to that. When you are selecting an element, what is the little symbol in the upper right corner? Yes, I can go right back to that. So. All right, so when you click on this, do you mean this? This one? To the right, here, to the right. This element? You can unmute yourself if you want, if that's easier. Wise?
Sorry, we were on a different computer that didn't have sound before. So now we do. Yes, that little speech bubble off to the right with the plus.
Yes.
Oh, so, it's a comment. Okay.
Yes, it's a comment. So when you are like, let's say you share with someone in your office or whatever it might be, you can actually create a note. Like, let's say you're working on this and you're like, hey, Barbara in your office, like, let's say Barbara's working on this and she shares it with you. You can make a comment. You can be like, hey, change the green to orange.
Okay.
And you can comment on it. And now that shows you on the side that I've said you should change the green to orange. It's a way for you to communicate with people who are in the same document.
And
awesome.
To keep track of the edits of the paper trail sort of thing. When you have so
if you wanted to say like, hey, you changed something and you're like, hey, like I changed this to this, like, yeah, you could comment on there if multiple people are in the document. Same thing with like, if you wanted to look at the changes on the file over here, version history, if you're paying for it, which again, I recommend, you can see your version history here too. So like all the changes that you made.
Thank you. And now that little check mark, when you're on the comment, does that dismiss it or does it just show that someone's seen it?
Yeah, so see resolve comment. So like, let's say I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to change this to orange now, like whatever. And then I can resolve the comment. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. And again, like I said, if you guys do not have the paid version or if you never looked at this before, whatever it might be, Canva is great. If you go to the link in the caption or in the chat, you'll be able to get 30 days free for a trial. And yeah, so if you ever have any questions about it, if you just click on that link, you can get to that and you'll have access to this video as well for anything that we've gone over. But really navigating Canva is the hardest part about Canva. You just have to figure out where everything is, how to move everything and move it around. Once you get the hang of that, I mean, some of my clients are on here, like they see me, I'm like moving things all around. I'm like going crazy, and like you get the hang of it, like you'll see, you can do so much with it. So yeah, and guys, do make sure to, if you want, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook. I do post comments. I do post videos with tips, and I plan on doing more classes through my page about different aspects of social media if you guys are interested in that. If you guys want another Canva class that maybe goes into a little more about intermediate, definitely let me or the board know. We are going to be doing another class. We've decided to do classes quarterly with them at least, and we're going to be doing some social media ones with them too. But those are only going to be quarterly. Again, you can follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, all of that, and you'll get updated on anything that's coming up. So I hope that you guys found this helpful, and I appreciate you guys giving the time today. Again, are there any other questions? No? You know, I can stop recording if you're scared to ask questions on the recording. Thank you guys for watching too.